Before Dumbledore's army, before Harry and his friends took up wands against the Dark Lord, there was another secret force fighting in the shadows. They weren't an official army. They weren't backed by the Ministry. They were teachers, auras, outcasts, and everyday witches and wizards who answered a single call: stand against Lord Voldemort. This was the Order of the Phoenix, founded by Albus Dumbledore himself and remembered as one of the bravest resistance groups in wizarding history. Today we'll trace their complete story, from their founding in the 1970s, through the First Wizarding War, their disbandment, and their rebirth in the 1990s. As Voldemort rose to power in the early 1970s, fear gripped the wizarding world. The Ministry of Magic denied his influence, more concerned with preserving its own image than confronting a growing army of Death Eaters. Albus Dumbledore saw the truth, that the wizarding world faced a threat unlike any before. To counter it, he founded the Order of the Phoenix. He chose the name carefully. The Phoenix symbolized rebirth and resilience, a creature that rises stronger from its ashes. It was a reminder that no matter how dark the times, the Order would rise again and again to oppose Voldemort. The Order wasn't large, but it was dedicated. Among its first members were Minerva McGonagall, Dumbledore's most trusted deputy; Alistair Mad Eye Moody, the most feared aura of his age; Frank and Alice Longbottom, skilled fighters and loyal friends; and even outcasts like Aberforth Dumbledore, who fought despite his grudge against his brother. Dumbledore often recruited personally. He approached people not just for their skills, but for their character, loyalty, bravery, and a willingness to fight even when victory seemed impossible. Unlike the Ministry, the Order fought Voldemort directly. They spied, sabotaged, and resisted, all while Voldemort's forces grew stronger. The First Wizarding War was brutal. Voldemort's Death Eaters used terror to break communities, murdering Muggles and Half-Bloods, targeting Ministry officials, and even killing their own to maintain control. The Order of the Phoenix fought back, but at a terrible cost. Members died in ambushes and raids. Families were torn apart. Every mission carried the risk of betrayal. Notable events included the Longbottoms leading missions against Death Eaters, Mad Eye Moody capturing and dueling countless dark wizards, Caradoc Dearborn vanishing during a mission never seen again, Marlene McKinnon and her entire family murdered in cold blood, the betrayal of Peter Pettigrew, who secretly spied for Voldemort. Despite their bravery, the Order was constantly outnumbered. Voldemort's influence stretched even into the Ministry, making allies scarce. Even when they won battles, losses often outweighed the victories. The war reached its climax in 1981, when the Order placed its hope in a prophecy foretelling the child who could defeat Voldemort. To protect the Potters, they used the Fidelius charm, but Pettigrew's betrayal led Voldemort to Godric's Hollow. The Potters' sacrifice and Voldemort's downfall ended the war. The Order, exhausted and broken, disbanded. For nearly 14 years, Voldemort's threat seemed gone. Without him, the Order had no reason to exist. Many members tried to rebuild their lives. Some, like Moody and McGonagall, continued their work at Hogwarts or in the Ministry. Others carried scars that never truly healed. Families like the Longbottoms suffered deeply, tortured into insanity by Death Eaters loyal to their master even after his fall. For many, this was a time of uneasy silence. Death Eaters slipped through the cracks of justice. Some claimed Voldemort would one day return, while others desperately tried to forget. But Dumbledore never forgot. He kept watch, knowing that Voldemort's absence was not a permanent defeat. In 1995, Harry Potter witnessed Voldemort's return in the graveyard at Little Hangleton. The Ministry denied it, branding Harry and Dumbledore liars. But Dumbledore wasted no time. He reformed the Order of the Phoenix, summoning old members and recruiting new ones. The Order's new headquarters was number 12 Grimmauld Place, ancestral home of the Black family, protected by the Fidelius charm with Dumbledore as secret keeper. This new order included veterans like McGonagall, Moody and Remus Lupin, alongside new recruits, Sirius Black, finally free after Azkaban, Nymphadora Tonks, a young Auror, Kingsley Shacklebolt, a brilliant strategist, Arthur and Molly Weasley, representing courage from the heart of family life, and Severus Snape, who continued his dangerous double life as spy. For many of these members, the Order wasn't just a mission, it was survival. It was loyalty to Dumbledore, and the hope that truth would one day be believed. The Second Wizarding War was even more desperate than the first. This time, the Ministry itself fought against the truth, leaving the Order as one of the only groups actively resisting Voldemort. Key missions included escorting Harry from Privet Drive in the legendary Seven Potters flight, where members like Alistair Moody gave their lives, guarding Hogwarts, where McGonagall and others prepared students for the war to come, infiltrating the Ministry, with Tonks and Kingsley working from within. The Order also fought in major battles. At the Department of Mysteries, where Sirius Black tragically fell. At the Astronomy Tower, where Dumbledore was killed, despite Snape's role in the plan. And finally, at the Battle of Hogwarts, where the Order stood alongside students, staff, and magical creatures in one final stand. Losses were devastating. Remus Lupin and Tonks died fighting, leaving their newborn son Teddy behind. Fred Weasley was killed, and once again, the Longbottom family carried the weight of tragedy, with Neville stepping up to lead in the final battle. Yet their sacrifices allowed Harry to face Voldemort and end the war once and for all. After Voldemort's defeat, the Order of the Phoenix quietly dissolved. Their purpose was fulfilled, but their memory lived on. They proved that resistance didn't need ministry approval or armies or numbers. It needed courage. It needed people willing to fight even when the world refused to believe them. The legacy of the Order can be seen in those they inspired, from Dumbledore's army to every witch and wizard who stood up during the Battle of Hogwarts. In many ways, Harry Potter himself was their greatest legacy. He grew up to lead by example, carrying the lessons of sacrifice, loyalty, and defiance against tyranny that the Order embodied. And for every student who whispered stories of Lupin, Tonks, Moody, or Fred, the Order became more than a secret society. It became proof that a handful of people can change the course of history. In the end, the Order of the Phoenix was not just a resistance group. It was a symbol that even in the darkest times, there will always be those who rise to defend what is right. From secret meetings to open battles, from founding to fall, the Order of the Phoenix remains one of the bravest chapters in wizarding history. Which member of the Order do you think was most courageous? Was it Moody, Lupin, Tonks, or perhaps the Weasleys? Who gave everything to the cause? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Harry Potter University For more magical deep dives, Mischief Managed.